What's going on, everybody? Another episode of the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast. As always, I am your host, Austin, a.k.a. More Than an Agent. Here with my co-host, my Dominicano hermano, John Soto. John does real estate. What's the word? Give me something new. Give me something new over the past 2 weeks. Give me something new.
What's new?
Give me something
great.
good. Give me something good.
People
I know
coming to the
everybody's
market.
always good. What's up?
Everybody's good. Everybody go buy a house.
There go my house.
Easy.
The interest rates over the past couple of weeks, what are we seeing?
They've been stable.
Pretty stable.
Yeah.
It's
Even with
the thought process that the Feds are going to be lessening them and easing them over the course of the year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we think this is a first quarter thing?
It's probably second quarter, honestly.
Second quarter.
Yeah, you're probably going to see with the new administration, see what happens.
Of course. Okay, shout out. And then obviously I think as time goes on, I think it's even, the probability increases. All love from the mortgage side. Today's guest has participated in the mortgage services of John Does Real Estate in the past. And in this particular case, this particular guest we wanted to bring on because we wanted to enlighten y'all on the power of combining real estate and business, which is going to be a big thing and big push over the next 5 to 10 years. As before, a lot of the individuals and baby boomers were selling off on their properties, and now people are able to sell off their businesses. But today's guest was able to combine the two. My frat brother, shout out to the mob, Will Francois. Will, what's up, champ? How are you?
What's going on, man? Good to be here.
Yeah.
Appreciate the invite.
Let's tap in with it.
I am highly honored.
We're gonna highlight you. And Will's one of the younger guests, right? So a lot of the individuals that have been on here have been in the business probably a lot longer than us, probably for the most part, have been in the business a lot longer. Will is on the younger end and is absolutely crushing the game. Just give us a rundown, everything that you're doing now, and then we will bring into the origin story, how you got started, everything like that.
Okay, so what I'm working on now, two things simultaneously. There's an event space business I got going on.
Mm-hmm.
That opened up in 2022. The property was bought in 2021. And for the past years, just basically transitioning out of the real estate and managing the business side of that. So, great revenue stream, fantastic. There's really no overhead. The only thing that I really do right now through my day-to-day is do showings, meet with people. The place, sells itself. And just managing the books of the business, and that's pretty much it. And when I got everything in order and got a rhythm going, I started looking to a different commercial building to potentially do a second event space. So right now, currently, I'm under contract right now with a Jersey City commercial deal. Supposed to close today, but just got an email saying it's closing tomorrow. And that would be a part 2 of the business. So those are the two things I'm working on simultaneously right now.
Okay.
What got you into the event space? What type of demand? Did you do any research, or what triggered you in that direction?
You know what's crazy? So
shout
out to Salik. So when I used to work for a e-commerce company. Salik was my manager, right? So, but Salik knew I was into real estate, and Salik was like, "Yo, man, this rentals is slow money, blah blah. Get into the event space business. So I used to just brush him off. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. Real estate's the deal. Like, I'm not leasing a building from another owner. I'm like, if I don't own the building, I'm not doing it. So over the years, one day I called him. This was maybe 2019. I called him. He was like, how's the event space business doing? He told me his numbers. And I'm just like, okay, this makes sense, right? So once he said the numbers, he just gave me a quick little outline of, like, what he charges and, like, how it goes and his overhead, and I'm just like, okay, let me find a way to combine my real estate and the event space business and bring it into two, because I don't like overhead, you know? So so that's really how I got started in the event space business, because when the rental game is a long-term game, right? So if you're in the multifamily rental portfolio, the average person is making like each property probably like, back in the day it was more, but right now if you get into real estate, you're probably profiting like $1,000 a month, because the numbers and the interest rates is astronomical. But when if it's the event space business with the tenants, you basically have no overhead. You're basically breaking even, and then the event space business is just bringing in money. So when you combine those two entities, it's simple, you know.
For a collective group opinion, we talked about it like on our very first episode.
Right.
And all of us have experienced the multifamily game at its base level of buying the property and just renting it out. So my question comes back again, and we got a lot of opinions on that original post about just long-term tenants and playing that particular game. You already know where I'm going with it. So I will ask y'all again. Well, you again. You the first time.
Okay.
Are we, and I only said that, I'll say it after, but are we going back into the small multifamily space with doing the regular long-term tenant game?
Or
Not or
short-term.
are you doing it with long-term? Are you going back and remember? Because short-term,
if I'm buying it with the current prices,
correct.
no, can't.
We all started in a space where we was getting them at decent prices with a regular long-term tenant. That was the thing. And then to Will's point, like eventually you kind of get used to it.
You want to scale.
And it's interesting. The reason why I asked that question, I can bring it back, is because I've seen none of us purchase a regular multifamily with the same way of how we were doing it back in the day.
Right.
And I used to wonder, I was like, is like Hez lazy, or Hez like, can we not adjust? Can we not? And it's just like, nah. The procrastination comes from us knowing exactly what comes from it, or it's going to come with it, for the amount of money that's going to come with it.
Right.
And we're like, if I'm going to do that, I might as well take on bigger risks, or I might as well be in something that is really going to fire me up in the morning,
Right.
where I'm ready to deal. I'm ready to deal with it, because we know it's going to come.
Yeah, but it's a different chapter. If we're talking if I'm starting all over, yeah, I'm gonna go in an FHA deal and do it that way.
No, that's a good point. I was only asking but that's it's very interesting. Okay, so perfect transition, but we'll go into the time machine going into the past, because with the event space you're doing that now currently. But in the beginning, you started off with buying that first property, FHA, buying the next, so on and so forth. Talk to us about what, got you into that space to begin with.
It's a funny story.
Was it a book? Was it a podcast? Was it, a family friend? Was it, how did you get into it, and how did you, talk about the first deal?
All right, so this is gonna,
because Will's up. Don't let the cameras gas you. Will is a silent assassin out here. But go ahead. But Will is up. Will has made some amazing purchases.
He representing with the hoodie. I see.
Listen. Will has made some amazing purchases. And, not to put his bet out there, but like at the end of the day, it's just the fact that this is what we do it for. So just pay attention.
All right, so this might throw y'all off a little bit. So my first deal, the reason why I got my first property was because I got hit by a drunk driver. Okay. So I got to repeat that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first...
he's going to count you in.
All right, so the first deal, y'all might be a little bit surprised on how I got my first deal. So the first deal revolved around me getting hit by a drunk driver, right?
Oh.
So Halloween 2015 or 14, I really don't remember. Irvington, you know, I just heard a loud bang outside, right? And the lady upstairs saying like, "Oh, I think somebody hit your car." Shoes off, running out, trying to like, you know, chase the car. He's swerving in and out the street. Got his license plate number. Fast forward a couple months later, they basically said my car is totaled. They're gonna run me a check for the car. So I'm like, all right,
So
whatever.
the car got hit by a drunk driver.
Yeah, the car got
I
hit by a
thought
car.
you
my
got hit by a drunk
God.
driver.
Twist, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm exaggerating.
So
yeah.
that was the difference between a small multi. No, that's good. That clip that up for clickbait. We got that. That's the difference between a small multi-family and
Right.
a 12 unit. Okay.
Right. So,
Okay, I got you.
So no, I didn't get hit.
Really?
Really, yeah, my car.
Thank God. I'm like, look
No,
at
no,
it
no,
here.
no, no, no.
Sense,
I should have
thank God.
clarified a little bit.
That's fine. No, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Right, that's perfect.
We got a check down.
So I went to the estimated like car's completely totaled, so they gave me a $7,500 check for the car. So I'm like, okay, instead of me spending it, I'm just like, you know what? I grew up during my household my parents was very, very frugal. So I took their tendencies and I'm just okay, if I got the $7,500, I'm not spending it. And back in Bloomfield or whatever college is this thing called the Parent Plus loan. So I got a refund check around like $4,000 back. So with the $7,500 and the $4,000 college refund I got, I basically used that money to buy my first deal in 2016. I was 24. The house was going for $119. Closing costs was around $9,000. So I bought my first multifamily at 24. Yeah, I spent like $9,000 for the house. So when I did that, 8 months later, I did some renovations, renovated the basement, whatever.
Even before that, sorry to cut you off. Even before that, what was the seed that had you put it into a house? Like what made, like why you ain't put it into stocks, or why didn't you put it into something else?
You know, so a few things that happened, right? When I was in college, I took a finance class. This was like, I was like 20. And it was this thing called E-Trade, and I tried to get into stocks. I did a whole portfolio of Tesla before Tesla was even a big thing. But the problem was E-Trade, I think they were charging like $7 to trade a stock. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that shit.
$6.99 it was.
And I'm like, you're charging me.
You had to. Yeah.
So I just let it go. And it was so many people. Rodney at one point. I don't know you're familiar with Rodney.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rodney. He was the realtor of my first property. He had he bought his first property in Irvington. He had a pizza shop in the Dominican Republic. And it talking to him and me working at Stop and Shop at like 18, my first job, and making $7.50 an hour, I'm just like, this can't be life. It was a combination of a lot of things that made me realize this is not the way to make money. And this was actually slow money. So I just needed something that was like automatic to the point where it's just like, you know, I don't gotta slave myself to make passive income.
Manual labor.
I didn't read no books. I wasn't a fan of reading books when I was younger. I mean, to be honest, I'm not a fan of reading books now. It's just, I honestly feel like it's just a mindset I was born with.
Do you think that's a cultural thing?
Being Haitian, yes and no. I don't think it's a culture thing because everybody got the power of free will, right? So me seeing my parents grow up working, you know, 2 jobs, they just told me to just go to school and get a good job. That's pretty much it. They didn't teach me about stocks. They didn't teach me about, you know, saving your money. They didn't teach me anything. They just told me to they basically just told me to go to school and whatever money you got, just do whatever you got to do with it. As long as you finish school, that's it. But financial literacy wasn't taught in my household at all. I mean, if you're talking about hoarding your money away, I guess that's a form of financial literacy. I think, but
that's like first, second grade.
It can be a culture thing, knowing that the history of growing up with parents that's hardworking, bringing you to a country for an opportunity. You don't want to waste that. They came here not for them. They came here to have like a better opportunity for the kids. So why waste it? So I knew that at a young age, and and overall, I think I'm a lazy person to the point where I don't like to work hard. You work hard, but you're working smart at the same time, if that makes sense. So deep down, I'm a lazy guy. So I busted my ass for almost 10 years to get to the point where I'm at now. So that way, I don't want to be 40, 50, 60 working a job,
Somebody said, I can't remember which, it was either a CEO or somebody but take like a Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not saying that he said it, but he was like, yo, I want to hire lazy people. Right. And not because they wanted to be lazy.
Right.
I forgot who said it, but the sole goal of it is because they're just used to solving problems in its quickest, most efficient way possible is lazy, essentially. I can't remember. I can't remember who said it.
Yeah, it's a CEO. I don't know.
I can't remember who said it. But it's definitely interesting. Okay, so we bang out the first deal. Now you're growing your portfolio. There's another switch. So now bring us into everything with the event space, but there's another switch that you're doing well off the small multifamily space. Why didn't you just continue just doing that?
You know what it is? So when the event space business picked up, the amount of money that was coming in versus the multifamily game, it requires less work. And I'm a fun guy. I sometimes I get to enjoy the events too, the money that was coming in versus the money in the quote unquote non-headache versus the multifamily game, it didn't make sense to go back to the multifamily. The only way I'll go back to the multifamily game is if somebody's giving me a 3-family house for like $250,000. That's the only way. But anything that I see now, I'm only touching commercial.
Wait, I got a 3-family in Trenton for $250. You want it?
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, it's Trenton. It all depends where in Trenton.
You already got something in Trenton that you already partnered on.
Yeah. So that one in Trenton is with 7 bros, including me. That happened. Ralph, my frat brother, my chapter brother. This happened during COVID.
Let me actually. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but
no
let me set this up context wise, because I know you're going to explain it as if everybody's already knows already. But long story short, right? We talk a lot about group economics, and obviously pulling resources from friends, families, people of certain organizations, religions, creed. Pulling our resources together in order to be able to make a move together. So, Will, as far as a fraternity brother of mine, each school is a particular chapter. Right. Same thing with the VFW, where certain lodges in different counties, areas, so on and so forth. So a couple of our fabulous from Will's chapter wound up pulling their resources together in order to purchase a building down in Trenton, if I'm not mistaken. And, where a lot of people would kind of raise the eyebrow of all right, how are 7 people fitting into it? Right. At the same time, it's just the fact that, y'all remember Najee from Philadelphia? He was actually on the podcast. He specialized in credit, but he made it on to Good Morning America. Him and 5 friends saved up over the course of the week, bought some property in Philadelphia, so on and so forth, right? And these individuals did the exact same thing, right? But at the end of the day, didn't have as much press because their social media platforms doesn't have a crazy amount of followers. But the reality is that they did the exact same thing. Talk to us about that particular deal, what it's like with participating with multiple individuals to get a common goal accomplished.
Right. That deal started with COVID. The history behind that. Everybody knew I was doing real estate. Back in 2020, I think I was on my second house already. So when 2020 came, Ralph's father passed away, and he just reached out to bros like, you know what, we just have to be, you know, more financially secure when death happens. He was just saying like, hey, you know, tomorrow's not promised. What you have, is it good enough so that way your family don't got to come up with, or, you know, pulling together last minute. So I just basically told him like, yo, listen, like, we don't have the answers right now, but what we can do is we just put money in every 2 weeks, $100 every 2 weeks, and then when we figure out what we're gonna do with the money, we'll pull the trigger on something. We were talking about, you know, regular shit like, hookah lounge or whatever. But in my head, I'm just like, okay, the only thing I know is real estate, so I'm gonna push real estate when we do have enough money available. So we've been consistent. 2 years later, I think we saved like $40,000. 2 years later, 2022.
How do you keep people consistent like that?
Yeah, how do you be on top?
So
who was doing the accounts to make sure everyone
I
was
was
putting
doing all
on?
the accounts on all the books. Yeah, I was doing all that. And I was grilling dude. I'm like, yo, you owe this money, blah 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 blah. It was just like, you know what? Let's just see what happens.
Was it harder than expected or easier than expected?
It wasn't hard at all.
So easier than expected.
It was actually easy because, you know, in the back of my head, I knew what we was gonna do with the money. Everybody was talking about like, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that. But I'm like, I knew in the back of my head, this is what would be good for the group. Something that's just like easy. Right. So I'm surprised. Yeah, I was consistent with it for 2 years. We saved up a little bit over $40,000, and you know, and then I was thinking about looking up here. You know, and I'm like, dude, like putting 25% down is so expensive up north back in 2020. We would need like 70,000 or 80,000. So Ralph, he's from Trenton. His brother's from Trenton, and you know, Ralph got into the real estate game too. So he was just like, let's not, you know, focus on one location. Let's look central where things are cheaper. And then when we were looking at Trenton, the numbers made sense. I'm just like, you know what? It makes sense. Trenton is not really good, but it has potential. There's a college there. Is there a college there? I don't really remember. There's a train station there.
I don't think so.
And it's the state capital, right?
Trenton University.
Trenton University? I was about to say, it's probably vacant right now. Like, yeah, that's at that point. Trenton University? Now, what is the closest college to Trenton?
Philly, maybe.
Mercer County College.
God, I was about to say, because that's the only thing, at least county-wise, that I can
County
think of.
College, I think so. But downtown Trenton's gorgeous. I think it's
because the only other, unless you're talking
about Ewing.
I was about to say, unless you're doing, oh Lord, what's the college? It's not. Is that Ramapo? Not Ramapo.
That's north.
That's
Mount
forget it. Yeah, I know. Ramapo's up north, actually. Yeah. Forget it. But it's close to Ewing because our other family that works there.
Right.
And I can't remember the actual name of it. Ryder.
I'm not sure.
That's fine. We continue.
Yeah. Yeah. So that house, we bought it for $175. 2-family house, $175. We put 25% down. Now that house is worth $350.
Okay.
$325, $350. So while we've been collecting rent on the properties for the past 2-3 years, and then the money that we collect, we don't spend it. We just put it in the account, and you know, and it's there for the next purchase. God willing, we're planning to pull another transaction, you know, during the summer of this year. You know, we have enough money saved up.
Are you still putting $100 a week?
No. And I'm gonna be completely honest
Yeah,
because
they collecting the rental checks. That is their $100 a week.
So what we did
$1,000
was
a month.
Yeah, so the house right now profits $1,300 to $1,400 every month.
So that's it right there. Huh?
So every month is just it's just going to account. We don't spend the money at all, and it's collecting equity at the same time. And then the goal is to take money out of that property, the equity, and fund the next deal.
Are you? There's always the argument if somebody's cash flow over the equity. Are you doing your deals based off of how much cash flow you can make, besides the events-based business, but the previous deals? Are you doing these deals based off of cash flow specifically, or are you more so like the equity guy?
Cash flow. I was looking at a cash flow, but I only buy in downtown areas. That's the there's a weird stat like by 2050 or 2060, majority of the world's population, like I think like 50 or 60% of the world's population is gonna live in downtown areas.
Makes sense.
Because everybody want to be closer to work.
Look at us.
Transit.
We were the start of it as far as like millennials, right? Because like before, like the whole entire suburban America was to get away from the downtown.
Now everybody's going back.
Now we wanted it to be closer to everything, work, play, so on and so forth. And obviously, the next generation, I mean, they're not trying to leave the house.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, there's talks. Listen, man, they're building all these like new cities, like they're building cities, right? Obviously, like out there, internationally and so on and so forth. But they're also building these new concepts, like within these new cities, where they're building everything that you need in that establishment,
the complex.
So before it was like we were getting to the gym, right, in our rental space. Like now we can get the gym, we can get the pool, the luxury, you know what I mean?
You get all that.
And then now the next level beyond that is like, let's put the grocery store, the Target, the mall.
Are they putting like the mall in Bergen County, right? Is a apartment complex in the mall or something
I wouldn't
like
be
that?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I saw something like
but
that.
But heads is not going to want to leave the house. I mean, Amazon is big. Point, click, there in 2 days.
That's it.
Point, click, there tomorrow, if
It's
possible.
the generation of the instant gratification. It's the one and now.
And
Trenton, speed and efficiency.
And Trenton I think Trenton is like 10, 15 years behind, but it'll get there.
I know. Why do you think the Trenton's not there yet? There's 2 cities in New Jersey, 3.
It's still growing.
Yeah, it's still growing.
Because I feel like at one point there was no equity building in that. Now it's just
it's just
was
skyrocketing.
It COVID triggered it?
I think
that was a good question.
You know what's crazy? Back in so not for nothing, all of these properties are getting grabbed underneath our feet, like very quickly.
Yeah.
I went to an auction. I went to an auction in Irvington back in like 2018, 2019. Dude, there was this house we was bidding on. We didn't last 30 seconds in there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Like it's happening to Trenton. It's happening to Camden. Newark was already too late. Jersey City, forget about it. Newark, it's a done deal for Newark. Mm-hmm. And then what now everybody's grabbing is look at Camden. Camden was the laughing stock of New Jersey 5-6 years ago. Now look at Camden now. There was a property I was under contract with in Camden for $80,000. It was literally right across the street from Rutgers, Camden. I got an email. You know them Zillow emails when you save the property and they tell you the equity? That house is worth like $310,000 on that 2-family. I'm just like, gee, like
what you had it under contract for?
$80,000. Come to find out that property wasn't
went off the
legit
Zillow equity?
No. Well, when you look at the comps,
just in general, looking at it like, yo, even if it's not this, like
even
there's clearly a spread.
It's clearly going from 80,000 to 310. You know,
right.
The reason why that deal didn't go through because come to find out, it wasn't a legal 2-family. It was a 1-family.
The 1-family with the bones.
But when you look at the deals that was lost in the past, you just like, damn, like.
Could you imagine? Camden, Trenton, Atlantic City are those like 3 big cities where
that will
I feel
boom
like
in the next 5 to 7 years.
5 to 7, you got it at.
And then hear me, and I told this in Trenton in 2017.
Okay.
I told him in 5 years, Newark will be around the 750 to 850 mark. And look where we're at.
You said
now.
that 2017. Okay.
I have a screenshot on my
We spoke
story
last year, and you said 5 years, Newark would be in the mill. I think we spoke about that.
Yeah,
at your event space.
Newark is in the mill right now.
Yeah.
Forest Hill
easy.
section in Newark, you got single family going for like over
Oh,
a mil.
150%.
Look at Ironbound.
Ironbound. I saw a
crazy.
3-family now, 1.1, and it's not even new construction. It's
So and the problem is, so there might be a reverse crash if the interest rates go down. If you get what I'm saying, meaning
appreciation. You mean?
Well,
You lost me with a reverse crash.
When you
So
say
reverse
reverse
crash-
crash, are
Price
you
going
talking
up?
about? Are you?
price is gonna go up
Like skyrocket.
if the interest rates go down.
Oh yeah, because
But are you talking about reverse crash, like where? All right, similar to like. I can see, maybe it might not be the word reverse crash, but I want to hear you talk about it.
Right.
But can it be where, similar to like the meme coins, right? Where all of a sudden there's so much value that could be created, right? So take example, the interest rates drop, property values skyrocket, but there's not a bidder for there. Mm-hmm. So there's not anybody to take off of the supply. Similar to the meme coins where like there's people that are up millions, not to say it's going to be millions for real estate, but there's people that are millions that can't sell because there's not a buyer for it. So, for example, all right, I got this 3-family, all of a sudden interest rates drop, and now I think that I can claim an extra 100,000, but do we have a buyer for it? With real estate, we're probably going to have a buyer because it's an asset class in which you can use leverage in order to purchase it. But is that what you mean as far as a reverse crash? Because how does the increase in the prices create a reverse crash?
Not meaning like, okay, so so maybe I'm using my own terminology. So
gotcha.
basically,
There would be a supply gap. There would be a vacuum.
So you see how people could afford to buy a house. I mean, there's so many buyers here, right? And I'm just talking about this area, like the Essex County, the New York area, like this circle right here. You're so if let's just say you go on Zillow and all that stuff. If you type in multifamily building in Newark, I think maybe like 200 listings pop up, right? Now you're competing with New York buyers, and now you're so the population in New York City is around like what? 15 million or something like that. I don't know, maybe 10, 15 million. And now you have the Jersey buyers. Jersey's population is around like another 8 million. So you have 20 million people competing for 200 properties, right? So out of the 20 million people, let's just say you only get 1% of the 20. Let's just say now you have not even 1%, 0.001%. Now you have like 20,000 people that's buying a house looking at these 200 properties.
Well, that's the issue we have now. There's not enough supply, more demand, and you're saying when the rates do drop, which I agree with you, it's going to be a higher demand, which is going to push.
Right. So a reverse crash, meaning these prices going to go up astronomically. Not like it's going to be like a 2008 all over again.
Oh, I got you. So you're talking about more. Oh, so you're talking about more to the
like
outside.
Like a reverse. Like the opposite of a crash. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
But
the opposite.
Understood.
Like you said, like, like New York and everyone looking like in the Essex County area. But
crazy.
Since that's getting the prices increasing there, that's why people are going more south. And that's why I think that's what hitting with the Trenton area and those areas, those South Burlington County. Those single families are going higher now.
Yeah,
they were 200. Now they're about 400, depending on. Yeah,
I was looking at somebody. She commutes from Philadelphia to New York to go to work every day. Well, not every day. She works in her office. She takes a train. She said it takes like an hour 20 minutes.
It's not even that bad.
It's not bad.
There's people that are in New York City that take bus and train, and it probably takes them the same time.
From one borough to the next.
It's ridiculous. So this is what's happening. You know, people their buying power is, and the reason why a lot of people's buying power is going up is because the rents that are going up. That's allowing people to borrow more. These rents are ridiculous. I mean, I'm not complaining, you know. So, but it's it's hard to get in the game now.
It's extremely difficult.
It's easy to get in the game, to get a pre-approval, but it's hard to compete to get on the contract.
Say it's very easy to purchase a property, very hard to be profitable.
Very hard to be profitable.
Very hard to be profitable in this day and age, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We tried to tell y'all. We told everybody. and made it very, very clear. But it is what it is. So but that's why at the same time, everybody adjusts, right?
Yeah,
Which you
adjusts.
did, right?
Yeah.
So you look at the numbers now. The multifamily game isn't exactly the same. Luckily, with the rising rents, helps
it's still good.
kind of. Yes.
It's still good. If you bought early, like the second property I got, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in each unit. It's a 2-unit basement, attic. And I bought the house for $230.
3-bed, 2-bath in each unit.
3-bed, 2-bed. I bought it for the west
As far
side.
as the first floor and the basement, or just the first floor?
Just the first floor.
3-bed, 2-bath, and it wasn't a cookie cutter, like new construction style.
It was a newer property.
But like that general new construction cookie cutter stuff.
No. It wasn't
regular,
like that. No,
kind of property.
Regular
3-bed, 2-bath
property.
came
Yeah,
in there?
3-bed,
Sheesh.
3-bed,
And you got it for
2-bath.
how much?
$230.
What year was this?
2019. Interest at a 4.5. You know, that property's doing exceptionally well when it comes to numbers.
Is it?
Because 3 bedrooms are going for, you know, just to give you a breakdown. I mean, I don't care. Just to give you a breakdown, mortgage is $2,000.
One unit's covering that.
One unit right now is $2,150. The second unit is $2,650. Basement is $12,000, and 4th floor is $12,000.
Yeah, so about like $3-4 grand
for that one property.
Net profit.
Yeah, for that one property. So it's still profitable, but it's only profitable when you got in there early. Like even right now, if somebody buy a property right, they might not be as profitable as, you know, whoever bought 5 years ago. But you know, the way the trajectory of like rents is going, you will have more money coming in 3 or 4 years. The rental thing is a long-term game.
Yes, that's such a good point.
It's a long-term game.
Could you imagine like 5 years from now when heads are selling properties and we're like, yo, the rents are under market and the rents coming in are at $4 grand for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
It's gonna happen.
And they're like, yo, the rents are under market. Yo, we need the rents should be $5 grand.
I think John gave me a pre-approval like a couple years ago, a year or two ago. I was trying to do something. He's like, yeah, we could put the rents for a 2-bedroom for $2,200. I'm like, $2,200?
Yeah.
What the hell? 20. I'm like, John, this is a 2-bedroom, not a 4-bedroom.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Nah, we can make it happen. Yeah.
Was this in Newark?
Newark. And then look.
Exactly. That's on the cheap end.
Jesus Christ. So, you know, you get your reward. Real estate is a long-term game. Like, you can't. People are expecting they buy a house. Oh, I'm gonna make no
Overnight success is
It's not overnight. I've been doing this almost for 10 years. I finally could now rest my feet.
You're not resting at all. This last year,
as far as like not working a 9 to 5, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that part. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I want to ask about your creativity. So a lot of people, especially HGTV, it's big on, hey, I got the vision. Hey, I can, you know, I can see this for what it's going to be. Now, you have some very unique creative ideas that you try to put together. I'm marveled by it sometimes, you know, on the back end, you know, I'm scratching my head like, how the hell is he about to pull this off?
Right.
But, you know, obviously you come from a proof of concept. There's nothing that, you know, you're not trying to do that you haven't done before, but just trying to add a little sauce to it.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
You might just try to extend yourself 20% more, but that's not much in the grand scheme of it. Where do you think the creativity came from when you're looking at these particular deals, projects, where you're like, okay, I see that, you know, this is where it's at right now, but if I just do this, it can be, you know what I mean? Because Will's trying to put a rooftop on every single property that he's trying to build right now. And,
rooftops are a thing. You know what it is, Sue? So growing up, I was an artist, right? I had a creative mindset, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, this shit's not paying no fucking bills.
Right.
Like drawing or like paintings, I'm like, you when it comes to like artwork, you're more valuable when you're dead, right? So I'm just like, all right, let me switch this shit up because I'm so I
didn't realize that. Wow, that's very interesting. And that's, did you know that? I didn't know that at all.
Your art is more valuable when you're dead because like painters, musicians, like they make more money when they're dead. You didn't know that, right?
Wow. That kind of creates the demand, I guess.
Yeah, because it's never gonna happen.
Because you're not gonna have more
of course,
of it.
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Look at Basquiat. I think one of his paintings sold for $500 million. You know,
but that's a whole different like level. The rich dude,
right? But when he was alive, he was
yeah,
great,
because
but
you're not gonna get another one of those paintings. That's why it's a limited supply.
Right. So I always had like a creative mindset. Even the event space I have now, like I saw it, I'm like, this house is a piece of shit, and there was nothing in my price range when in 2021, but I'm just like, I gotta get something because I wanted to get into the event space business. It was a rundown candy store. It looked horrible. I bypassed it 3 times, and I was looking at the listing, and I'm just like, I think I know how to make this shit work. The house was on the market for over a year because the house looked like a piece of shit. So when I went in, it was a 300 square foot candy store, and then behind it was like a 1-bedroom apartment. The only thing that was separate, and the 1-bedroom apartment was like 1,000 square feet. So the only thing that was separating the two was a wall. So I'm like, okay. I walked in there, and as soon as I walked in there, I knew exactly what to do. All I had to do was separate. I just had to give it a chance. You know what I noticed? A lot of things that happen with people, they don't take advantage of the opportunity, or they don't know if the opportunity already exists. And they just bypass it, and they're just like, okay, this shit's not gonna work. Sometimes you gotta find a way to make shit work, you know? So no, I was the only, I think I put in an offer for like $15,000 selling concession. They gave me an additional $6,000 in inspection credit. They removed the oil tank for me. Because the house, nobody wanted it. The house was a piece of crap. And then the house appraised for $410. So at that time, and I think I got it for like $330. And all I had to do was go to the city, change it from a 3-family to a 2-family commercial, and then 1 unit at the top. I got city approvals. I hired an architect.
Did you do that during you were in the contract, or did it after you bought it?
I did it after under contract. After I bought the property. Yeah. I hired an architect. It got approved. I submitted to the city. I'm like, the place was already zoned in the area, so I didn't have to go through the board, go in front of them. It was already zoned for it, so they just gave me approval 2 weeks later, saying like, you're approved. I just had to get a contractor, plumbing, electrical, started to work, and I was just like, smooth.
Why, like, all right, so going forward, right, is your thing going to be focusing in the event space niche, or do you see yourself doing the same thing where you're just combining real estate and business, but like other business ventures as well? Like, is the plan to open another 3 more, and then, hey, I'm going to see what's next in my journey? Like, those will be your next 3-4 multifamilies, and then you're graduating from that, and you're like, okay, I might get into the restaurant space or whatever it is. But
so this everything changes through every deal, right? I might have an idea, like the East Orange deal that we were talking about. Things change because I failed a lot in real estate. Like, there was a lot of deals that just went left, you know. But sometimes if something don't work out, you just gotta pivot a different way. So to answer that question now, I don't know, because every year I learn something new. I'm just like, okay, let me do this because this is the knowledge I know now. I can talk about the present tense, where this Jersey City deal, God willing, when it goes through, is to build up with the residentials, 2 units per floor, depending on what it's allowed in the area. Go off of what's allowed in the area, whether it's 2 units per floor, 3 units per floor. It goes off of that. And then the goal for the Jersey City one, because the thing about business, you have to do something completely different for it could gravitate to people. I don't want to open the exact same Verona, I'm like competing with myself at this point.
Right.
Because no other venue in Jersey have a outdoor backyard section. You know, there's only one other one, and my frat brother, Big Mark, shut up. Yeah, so he opened up. I gave him game on how to open up. Him and Tamia. Shout out to Mark and Tamia. They open up an event space business.
I did that
Oh,
loan.
nice.
John did the loan actually.
Oh, shout out to
shout out to.
Shout out Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mark.
What's his space at?
What's what?
Where's his space at? It's in Newark?
But what is the name?
Lines.
Yeah, what is the name? What is the name of It's him and Tamia. Yeah, he did 2 deals.
Shut up.
He closed on Mark, a 3-family, and then Tamia the event space. Yeah, shout out to I put John.
Yo, listen, man. John, listen.
There's a few people that he closed on a deal with.
The whole frat, I'm telling you, bro. We're taking care of the whole.
John, I need some commission money, man.
Service for humanity. We've been labeled as the people's frat.
3%.
We out here putting
John Sigma now.
John honorary.
I'm about to go to the party.
The Bill Clinton of listen, man. The frat be out here blessing.
The Bill Clinton of
The frat is out here blessing people. I'm telling you, we got a whole organization, the whole movement, man. Shout out to the mob for always making moves, for always pushing things. That's one of the reasons why I know I pledged. Because in college, at least, the 4 years was going to go through extremely quick.
Yeah,
I saw my chapter coming beyond the 4 years, coming back on their professional tip or their humble tip. And it makes sense, though, because as we all graduated from college and the 4 years goes by quick, the mob, and not that mob, but the mob as far as, go mob, but we're all continuously making moves professionally, entrepreneurially, and familiar, and off the familiar tip, where we keep advancing in our moves, and we're bringing everybody and everybody's individual networks that are also 6 degrees from separation, and we're bringing everybody up. So it's cool to see that part, man. How much the organization is out just busting moves where we're all able to continue to professionally develop. So
yeah, for sure.
Shout out to the mob. So, all right. So, did you have something? All right, man. All right, so it's I like the phrase "good deals." Here's what we will do as we start our descent here. Here's a great question, and you hit it on the head. Good deals. I've never found a good deal. I've never found a good deal. I found a house that was at market value, or so on and so forth, and then I found ways to make it worth my while.
Right.
Whether that was rolling in my commission so I can get paid to buy the deal, whether that's finding something that you can add a bedroom space to it to increase the value, whether it's finishing the basement, whether it's so on and so forth. But no, deal is like that when at its face value. What would you say for everybody that's getting into the game over the next, let's just say this year, for everybody that's looking to get into the game investment-wise now, what are some of the things that you're looking for that when you're looking at an opportunity, you're looking for ways to create value at these prices that we're at now?
This one project I'm doing right now, it's small. So converting things like this, converting a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom. That raise, putting a little couple 2x4s and 2x4s like $3. A sheet of sheetrock is $11. Getting somebody to do the work, a couple $100. That right there, if you're looking at an apartment, and then if you find a way and it's room and it's a 2-bedroom, or even if it's a 1-bedroom, find a way to upgrade it to a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, or 4-bedroom, because that extra bedroom is like an extra $500, $600 cash flow every month. The thing about stuff like you got the opportunity is there. You just have to be creative to get it. And it's crazy. That's my first project I'm doing. It took me 8 years to realize that. I could, and that jump, that extra that extra jump that $600 extra, $700, it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Another way to gain value, look at the zoning of the area. If you're in an MX2 zone, and a lot of properties, and the information is on the website. If you look at the website, and if you're in a mixed 2 zone, you can do a mixed use style for everybody that's like in the business world that owns like barbershop salons and trying to get into real estate. Try to combine the two. So now that way it's just like you're not paying $2,500 for rent. You own the building. Mm-hmm. You use your building. Now you're rent free. Now you're business rent free. Now you're rent free, and you have another unit up top. Going towards your mortgage. So, another piece of advice is if you don't have the opportunity to do it by yourself, do it with somebody that you trust to get into the door. Cause one word of advice: after the first property I bought. It was stressful. I'm just like, this is my first property. I don't have anybody for guidance. If you're a person that have no guidance and you're doing this by yourself, and you're scared to get your foot in the door, just team up with somebody. It makes it easier. I mean, the first settlers here that came here, you think they were doing shit by themselves? Everybody lived in one house. So, a lot of people here, they're not even first generation. Some people were born here when they came here. A lot of people are first generation. And the formula is there. Just follow the formula. Do things together to get your foot in the door, and then you branch out, But not starting because you can't. That's no excuse.
What's one thing that if you were to do over, you're starting over from the very beginning, that you would have done differently?
To be honest, I don't regret anything. Like, I wouldn't do nothing differently at all, because I feel like I'm at a point where I'm 32, right? I'm not young, I'm not old, but at the same time, what has happened, I wouldn't go back and change anything, honestly.
Okay, cool.
To be quite honest with you, I wouldn't go back and change anything.
Fine. Biggest mistake.
Biggest mistake, not buying more properties.
And that can't be an answer.
My biggest mistake in real estate? Shit.
Take your time. Listen.
Yeah, because
I know we gotta wind down, but
the biggest. I took a lot of L's in
or most memorable. It doesn't have to be considered, but most memorable. Even if it was small, but most memorable because it maybe forced you to change one little detail about how you handle things going forward.
Right.
But what was the most memorable?
It's a comedy. Hopefully he don't see this shit. Hiring the wrong contractor. And using my money to do a renovation. Because Verona, it took close to $100,000 to bring up. Indoor, outdoor.
Renovation loan?
No.
Out of your own cash?
Yeah, own cash. Yeah.
Wow.
But now, the knowledge that I know now, there's commercial lending that funds renovations. Like John gave me, he gave me an insight to it to trigger. Like, even though the East Orange deal didn't go through, but that knowledge that John passed me on to Mark, knowing that lenders give that type of loan, transitioned me to get into the building in Jersey City. So I had that mindset. I'm like, this shit could fucking happen. I can curse it, right?
So
you already did. So you did now.
I'm just saying.
So I own 10% of Jersey City. So I got nah.
Hey,
I was about to say, listen, are we cutting out deals now at this point?
Everything.
Get off the Real Estate Blueprint podcast, man.
Everything is a learning. And my thing is I learn every day. So the mistakes and the things I offered back in the day, it only gets better in time. So now this is my first time getting into a space like this. Like, so of course it's an everyday learning process, but eventually it'll work out. So I don't regret anything. That's really, everything happened for a reason. That's how I look at it.
110%, man. Will, for all the listeners, as we close out this particular episode, where can people find you at? If they have any other questions, want to tap in just on the event space business. Will, you've always been an open book, so we greatly appreciate you for that always. Where can people find you at?
Yeah, so Verona Hills Event Space, Verona Hills, one word, _ event space, and my personal page, W Francois. That's pretty much it. People have access to me. If you want to DM me, ask me your questions. I'm here for it. That's really my specialty too. If I know something, I spread the knowledge and I spread the love. I don't hoard any information.
Will is absolutely relentless on his real estate goals. So always stay tapped in, because always an amazing individual to keep the conversation going. So that way we stay in tune with, whatever we're looking to accomplish for that particular year. As always, because considering the fact that this conversation will obviously go completely off the podcast and will continue to go, whether it's new opportunity, new business ventures, new deals, things like that. On this particular episode of the Real Estate Blueprint podcast, we have Will Francois out here continuing the grind. This is Austin, more than an agent, as your host. My Dominicano hermano, John does real estate, as our co-host. This is the Real Estate Blueprint podcast. Signing off.
Yes, sir.